All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So we're going to talk about this lawsuit that Jake Paul is facing because this is actually not good. This is not good. Now, if you follow my channel consistently, you know when it comes to this kind of thing, I'm not a babe in the woods, okay? I have a lot of experience with this kind of stuff, lawsuits, contracts, etc., and what you could sue for, how you assess damages, etc. Not a lawyer, but trust me, you'll be able to tell pretty quickly. I know what I'm talking about, and this is not good for Jake, dude, and I'm serious. This is a $100 million lawsuit that Eddie Hearn, the owner of Matchroom Boxing, he hit Jake Paul with a $100 million lawsuit. And here's how I already know that this is not good for Jake, because I understand that normally when you see a headline, this person famous is getting sued for $100 million, you're like, okay, oh, another $100 million lawsuit. Well, hey, why not make it $1 billion? Why not make it $1 billion? And generally, the way that you come up with these numbers that you're going to file suit for is you figure out the most outlandish number that you can think of and justify, knowing that you're going to come down and settle, right? Now, that's probably what he's doing, maybe, right? But maybe not. Like, he might want to make an example out of this because what Jake did, he made a big mistake here, a big one. He's going to pay for it. This is my guess. My guess is he's going to pay for this. And I'll explain exactly why, and we'll get into it. Now, before I get into the details, if you like the content, go ahead and subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already. Throw a like on this video, comment, etc. I would be very curious what you guys think, because I'm going to lay out kind of how you can, like how this all works, and then you guys can give me a comment if you think that this is going to play, how you guys think it's going to play out. So I actually haven't even read what he is, exactly what he is suing for. But he's basically suing him for making defamatory statements that he's saying are untrue, that are damaging his business. And here's the deal. He's got a really good case. Okay. Now, the other night I was doing, I can't remember if this was yesterday or the day before, I was doing a live stream, and the Jake Paul, like, this story came up that Eddie Hearn was threatening to sue Jake Paul for comments about blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay, everybody's always threatening to sue people. Oh, boxing. Oh, he's threatening to sue him. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, sure. And then I went and read what Jake Paul actually said that he was threatening to sue him for. And I was like, oh man. And I said, this is before he actually filed the suit. And I said on my live stream, I was like, Jake's in trouble here, dude. So basically, here's the deal. So this is what Jake Paul said, just to start off at a baseline here. So Jake Paul was talking about a specific judge obviously a boxing judge, a specific boxing judge who had made some questionable cards, right? Like questionable calls. He had this person winning this many rounds, whatever. Like, it was a couple different fights it's kind of not relevant who they were. But here's what he ended up. So here's how he wrapped up the statement. He said, this type of shit, I'm going to call it out here in boxing because it's bullshit. Clearly, this guy Feldman is getting paid money by Matchroom Boxing. Okay? So he directly accused this guy, Glenn Feldman, of not only taking bribes, but specifically taking bribes from Matchroom Boxing, which is Eddie Hearn's company. Okay? So here is why he's probably fucked. Okay, that's a clear accusation. Like, you haven't implied anything. You just directly said it. Now, if he would have said something like, here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to know. This guy, Glenn Feldman, have you seen this string of cards that the string of judge, I don't even know, the cards that he's turned in? Like, what is this guy watching? Look at what the other two judges saw and look what he saw in this fight. Look at what the other two judges saw, look what the judge saw. And then this is what the outcome was due to his card. Okay. So you're telling me what? That, like, he's either the worst judge ever, or he just, unluckily just kind of saw things differently. It happened to break this way. Okay. Let me, I would be really curious to understand the nature of his relationship with that company. Okay. That's how you make an accusation and they can't sue you for it. I would really be curious to understand what his relationship, I'd be curious if he has a relationship with Matchroom Boxing. That would really, maybe I'll ask Eddie Hearn if he has a relationship with this guy. Okay. You've made the accusation, but you haven't made the accusation. Jake Paul straight up said clearly Glenn Feldman is getting paid money by Matchroom Boxing. Okay. That is a completely different ballgame. Completely different ballgame. Okay. And here's why that $100 million number is not a joke, is because when you sue, right? When you sue, what do you sue for, right? Like, how do you assess what number? I mean, you could, I'm suing for, $20 billion, right? Because of blah, blah, blah. But the reality is you need to come up with numbers that you can defend why you've been damaged this amount of money. You have to actually justify what you're going after them for and why. Okay. So in the case of Eddie Hearn and this, he's going to say that Jake Paul's inaccurate accusation is undermining any promotion that he puts on going forward, that people are not going to trust the outcomes of those fights. And he's got a good case, dude. Honestly, he has a great case. Jake Paul has one of the biggest platforms in the world. You can't say that, dude. You can't say, I'm not bagging on Jake Paul. I'm saying he made a mistake, a big one, dude, that he's going to end up paying a lot of money for, I think. In the future, if you see this in the future, you could still make an accusation like that. You just can't say it directly. Just like I said, I would really be curious to understand the nature of the relationship between those guys. Seems like, seems like every time he makes a mistake, it seems to break in the direction of Matchbook. I don't know. Really, really weird. It's really weird. Just something I think about like that. Not, this guy is clearly taking money from Matchbook Boxing. Because again, now Matchbook can just say, oh, okay, cool. Well, now you've poisoned the well. And when I promote a boxing match, people are going to go, oh, that shit's corrupt, and not buy it. He's got a great case, a really good case. So I don't know. I mean, the ship has sailed on this. Comments made, lawsuit filed. I mean, listen, I understand Jake has a shitload of money, but let me tell you, having to pay someone $20 million, $30 million, $40 million, it is, I mean, believe me, this is a big deal. This is a really big deal, because I can promise you that Jake Paul is talking to an attorney and they are saying exactly what I'm saying. They're like, well, so here's how, they'll do it in the attorney way, where they're not going to be like, listen, man, you're completely fucked. They're going to do the attorney thing. They're like, look, man, here's the thing, right? You made a direct accusation. So they might be able to say that yeah. I mean, there's nothing really else to it. Jake really structured that comment poorly. And it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Interesting. But anyway, so that's what I got. Love you guys. Peace.